Welcome to NothingisOB South Texas Golf Podcast with your host, Andy Thun. ACGT Tour Report Power Hour, powered by NothingisOB Golf Podcast. ACGT Tour Report Power Hour, powered by NothingisOB Golf Podcast.
Good evening, Alamo City Golf Tour. My name is Michael DerManuelian. Welcome to the Alamo City Golf Tour Power Hour. Looking forward to talking to you guys tonight. Have a great show for you. Let's bring in a couple of our hosts. First and foremost, Dustin, Hassan.
MD, what's happening, my man?
What is going on, buddy?
It's great living life Tuesday morning. Beautiful. Got some rain today. Much needed rain.
Nice and cool, man.
Loving it.
It was nice to walk outside and be like, okay, I could rock the sweater today.
Like, what is this wet discharge coming from the clouds?
Oh my goodness. All right, well, let's bring in Travis Salkowski, the one and only.
Woo! What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. It rained. I'm so happy. I second what Dustin said. It's like, oh my God, it's rain a couple days in a row. I'm wearing a hoodie. I feel great. MD, thank you for being here. I heard we got a great show. What we got in store for tonight?
Man, we got a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about Willow, talk about how that kind of went down this weekend. A lot of great golf was played. We're going to talk about and highlight that pace of play. Talk a little bit about
it. Was good.
It was amazing. That cannot be understated. We've got a couple of guests here tonight. Ruben Caraveo joining us. Steve Roberts hopping on with us tonight.
I'm excited for Steve.
Yep,
excited for Ruben. I'm always excited to talk to Ruben Caraveo because I think it's so important to continue to emphasize the relationship that the ACGT Tour has with the Alamo City Golf Trail. It's an amazing partnership that produces the access to the ACGT Tour to the amateur golfer of San Antonio.
Yep.
And I think it's so cool when Ruben's on. And I'm really excited to talk to Steve Robert, second flight winner. Yeah, second flight winner from this past weekend at Willow Springs. And I'm really excited to have him on the show. That's going to be great. And you are absolutely right. 4 hour and 35-minute pace of play again for ACGT Tour.
Great.
Full field stroke play at Willow Springs. Congratulations to all you golfers out there grinding it out. There's Jason Bird. Welcome, Jason Bird, to the show. Jason, what do you got to say on this fine, wet, and wonderful Tuesday evening?
Listen, I've had a heck of a day. I just spoke to the Live Tour, and I am happy to announce that I am staying with the ACGT Tour.
Woo! All right. That's good. Good news, everybody.
Jason Bird, the first person to be asked to pay to play on the Live Tour.
Yeah.
They were trying to court him.
I told him I had $100 in a van, but it wasn't good enough for them.
Well, I think that is. We're going to talk a little bit about a merchandise segment, MD, today. Is that right?
Yep, we're going to start talking a little bit about some of that new stuff coming up.
So we'll talk a little bit about the next limited edition merchandise order for the tour that'll be available out there to the general public very quickly. The hats being the one we just wrapped up. There's a couple left. There may be a couple that'll be available at the Cedar Creek event. We'll talk about registration for that. But man, I'm excited to be here. Another great tour event. That is, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that the 16th consecutive sellout going back to last year, or is more than that? I don't know. I've lost count.
I know that we've had to ask for more tee times every event this year. So I'd have to go back and look, but I know it's been a long time.
So excited about that. And then the other big thing excited about coming out of Willow is that rockstar pace of play. I mean, 4 hours and 33 minutes from the last foursome of third flight at Willow Springs. Fourth flight went a little earlier in the day. We had 5 flights. And 4 hours and 33 minutes in tournament play is phenomenal. Shout out to the ACGT Tour ambassadors that were out there grinding it out, pace of play. Laura Lewis, Sean Vidal, and Jason Sandoval. Micah Carroll was out there for a minute marshalling. I was out there for a minute. Thank you for the 2 thumbs up, Jason Sandoval. We appreciate that. I know Dustin was out there for a minute marshalling. The water bottles continue to be rockstar success. So third flight, great. CJ saw the shirt. I love that. That's excellent. Thank you for watching, CJ. I lost my train of thought. I got no clue where we were. When you pull in the comment there, I go hands down.
We lose Travis every time.
Every time.
Travis
That
like,
is
ooh,
That's
shiny.
right. We're just thanking the ambassadors for helping push the pace.
We're
of
thanking
play.
ambassadors.
Played a big part in helping push that pace of play. You know, not to say the players didn't. Without the players kind of being aware, you know, we don't have that. But
that's
it's
a
a
really
collective
good.
effort.
That's a really good point, Dustin. The players' awareness of pace of play has greatly improved in the last 3 months.
It's completely changed.
I contributed to 2 things: the ambassadors out there busting their butts day in and day out on the tour, assisting, looking for balls, helping with yardages, and I'm going to go back to lost balls there, spotting golf balls off the tee. The ambassadors, and then the real awareness push from the tour on the starters tee box with the if you're not waiting, you're the slow one. I think that really hammered it home, and I love that. And the ambassadors keep saying it, and I think it's great. And I bet you will see those on one of MD's t-shirts that we were just talking about.
It very well could pop up. I am all in on any good saying. It belongs on the shirt, and I will wear it all day.
I'm super excited about that. Jason, pace of play in championship flight. How did it feel for you on the front end of that tournament?
Felt good. I'm pretty sure we played in 5 hours. So the fact that the last flight caught up to 4.5 is absolutely great. That's partially my fault. I did hit 3 balls in the water, so not bad.
So that's a really interesting point. And now everybody at home watching is like, how does a group in the middle of the tournament finish in 5 hours and the last group make up 30 minutes in tournament play? Well, there's only one answer for that. It was Jason hit 3 balls in the water and screwed everything up.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding. I'm just
kidding. Me.
I want to point that out because that's an interesting comment, because that's true. There were a couple flights, a couple pairings in first flight that got up to really close to 5 hours. I don't know if we crossed that 5 hour threshold there or not, but I want to highlight the way the ACGT Tour has partnered with the Trail to do the tee times for the tournaments. This is another one of those awesome partnership statistics that kind of goes under the radar, and I'm glad we talked about it. That's a good point, Bird. The ACGT Tour worked in a starter's time in between every flight at Willow. 10 minutes in between tee times in between every flight. So if championship flight or first flight fell behind on the tee box, there was a 20-minute buffer in between the last group of that flight and the first group of the next flight. It allowed for some decompression or the ability to catch up. So some strategic threesomes from the tour pairing committee and the use of 10-minute intervals with starter times allowed third flight and fourth flight and second flight, for that matter, to make up the time that Jason Bird cost the whole field. So that's a great point. Props to third flight and fourth flight for getting the job done. Props to Jason Bird for shooting a great score with 3 balls in the water.
3 balls in the water.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get a gift card this week, Jason?
No, I came in 6th.
Oh, terrific. Middle of the pack.
2 over gets you 6th in
terrific.
champ flight. Just want you to know that 2 over gets you 6th place in champ flight. So.
That champ flight was stout. The net scores from Willow were great. We are going to recap Willow and the flights at the end of the show. So we're going to do all of the player interviews beforehand, and we'll get to the recapping at the end of the show. We'll stay here with the 4 of us as much as we can before we start putting pictures on the screen. I know that's a new layout based on viewer statistics. So I know Jason's been hammering us home on that one. So we'll give it to him tonight. MD,
What up?
I'll stop talking and let you progress the show along. I've decided that he's going to pull a comment in every time he wants me to stop talking. That's his strategy, right? He doesn't want to cut me off, but he's going to pull a comment on to distract me, and that'll be my cue. That's perfect. Okay, MD, you can start.
It's like when the Academy plays him off the stage.
We're playing him off the stage.
A winner's speech. Yeah, we're playing you. He's playing you off the stage.
That's perfect. I love squirrels.
Well, guys, next up, we're going to have one of our first guests joining us. Ruben Caraveo is going to hop on with us. He's going to talk to us a little bit about what's going on in his world, talk to him a little bit about Brack, the new bunkers, how that's getting ready and set up to look. We're going to be there in a couple of weeks, which is super exciting to be back for that new format. So I am going to hop off here, and we're going to bring Ruben in, all right?
Okay, terrific.
Hey, guys.
Ruben Caraveo, welcome.
What's happening?
Not a whole lot. How's your Tuesday going?
Busy. Here I am on the Power Hour.
I love it. Welcome to the ACGT Tour Power Hour podcast. We will take this moment to shout out our 2 sponsors. We didn't do that when the show opened. I apologize. Shout out to our 2022 ACGT Tour presenting sponsor, Sean Sexton and Goosehead Insurance. There are QR codes all over the place day of tournament that'll get you right to the Sexton agency of Goosehead Insurance. And Rick Hoinsey, Elevated Logistics, same day delivery leaders in Texas. We'll put their graphics up as soon as we're done talking to Ruben. Ruben.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, it rained today.
I know.
I
just saw a picture of Cedar flooding.
Oh, I saw that.
I just saw it on Facebook before I clicked onto the
so.
show as well. Listen, who cares? Really, who cares? Congratulations on the rain. I know it's funny to say like that, but it's the truth. I know I asked you to be on the show tonight to talk to us about the bunker renovation and tell us all about those bunkers at Brackenridge Park. Give us a little sneak preview. I know you've played there a little bit. The tour returns to Brackenridge Park for the first time in a while on July 24th in a new format, 9-9, scramble and alternate shot. And this conversation is going to dip into course conditions real quick. Well, so let's just jump right in. Yeah, let's just go right there, Ruben. Talk to us about Brack. We will be there in just over 3 weeks, just under a month, for a new format. Brackenridge Park is a big draw for the tour. Everybody loves Brack. Right. And to play scramble and alternate shot there, it's going to be super fun. Tell us about the course conditions and the bunkers and what the golfers need to know going into practice rounds for that new format.
Well, obviously the bunkers have been totally completed now, and that crushed white quartz is really gleaming, and it's got a real high contrast. And a lot of times you couldn't really see that from the tee box, but it really pops now. A lot of the edges were raised.
It looks like something out of a movie driving down 281. It's almost
it looks like Augusta. It looks like Augusta with that white sand. It does.
Well, I think everybody needs to kind of get out there and hit a few balls out of that new sand. It's completely different. It's a little coarser. The ball sits up.
Okay, that was definitely a question I had. How does it play? Does it play different? Give us those insights there. I know you can see it from space. Absolutely. It's blinding. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a little firmer, a little coarser. So the ball does definitely sit up. You're not going to get a whole lot of plug lies. It's a little different characteristic than what you see at Almost with the new sand there. But it's using that better Billy bunker system. So this rain is pretty, it's going to just like pass right through it. And
it's probably going to help them firm up a little bit too.
Yeah, definitely. On the low spots, you have to pay attention to that when you dig your feet in. They're going to be a little firmer. With the better Billy bunker system, a little water table kind of settles in underneath the sand, but the top layer is going to be pretty much dry. And just touch on course conditions. Andrew Peterson, our CEO, basically has given a thumbs up to any weak areas on the course, including especially greens, have been sodded over. So really what you're looking at right now, I'd say the greens are probably 95% good and obviously in the next 3 weeks are going to recover. One thing to note, holes number 1 and number 7 and number 9 have been restored to their original shape and size.
So they've been cut out big on those greens.
Yeah, number 7.
Awesome.
Yeah, number 7, we just went back from a temporary green, and if you get out and look at it today, I'd say on either all the way around that green is probably another 3 to 4 feet. So it's significantly larger than what you would have seen probably 3 or 4 months ago.
So that's
I've noticed that number 7, Ruben, had shrunk in just the 4 years I've been going to Brack. Patrick and I used to notice it all the time. It was very noticeably shrinking.
This is a really cool thing to talk about. For everyone just viewing, this is Ruben Caraveo, Director of Marketing with the Alamo City Golf Trail. And we are here talking about course conditions at Brackenridge Park. And we are talking about cutting the greens back to the original size. And everybody watching is like, what the heck? Did they get smaller? Yes. The answer is yes. Every single green gets smaller every time you cut it, because every maintenance employee on a lawnmower is scared to scalp the edge.
Yes.
So it always, the circle, or in Brack's case, the square, circle gets the square. I'm dating myself there. Every green shrinks with every cut. And then the superintendent picks a time in the growing season, maybe every 3rd year or every year, depending on how aggressive they want to be, and cuts the extra mow path or the extra mow path and a half, or maybe it hasn't been done at Brack in a minute and they looked at some aerial photos and went, whoa, we need 4 feet here. But yes, so that's a great question or a great comment. The greens always shrink.
Yeah, Robert Cano, the superintendent at Brack, got the original plans for redesign in 2008 and basically reestablished those 3 greens specifically, 1, 7, and 9, back to the original size. And it's significantly different in size. 7 is huge. It's probably the biggest anybody's seen it.
Yeah, I like hole number 7 being cut back up, but I kind of like number 9 turning into a postage stamp. I kind of like number 9 shrinking. I think that's cool because that's such
since it's a short hole.
It's such a driver 5-iron hole for me.
Number 7 and number 1 getting bigger though puts more pinnable locations.
That's true. That's true.
Definitely.
That number 7 in the back was getting kind of tight. It was kind of almost not pinnable back there.
Right. So if you could picture that one's probably about 8 feet wider than it was before.
Oh my goodness, that's 3 paces.
Yeah, you could see it too, Ruben. You could see like where it used to be almost. It was like in the different coloration of the grass.
Because it's different. It's different turf grass, right? That's Eagle the sport.
Exactly. I think Brack's got a combination of different grasses. Tiff Eagle, 419 Bermuda. I mean, there's some Zoysia in there. You'll see on like number 9 tee box as an example.
Yeah, there's some Zoysia under the trees on 11.
Right.
There's Zoysia on that 15 tee box across the creek, right? That's like Emerald Zoysia.
Yeah, you'll get. It's been a hodgepodge of grass, but right, and even latitude 36. Yeah, exactly. With all the shade, you got to do something about it. So, and go ahead.
I was going to say we talked about your favorite hole at Almost after the redesign. What's the favorite hole at Brack now that the bunkers are done?
I still like number 14, at least now. I can aim where the old bunker used to be on 14 and get it in the fairway. So it actually has helped me quite a bit having that bunker taken out that was on the left there.
Okay, that's perfect.
I was so mad at that redo, Ruben, because that new bunker is exactly where my ball is every time I hit it around.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. What bunkers have changed? Is that anywhere? Is that written down anywhere? Is that on Facebook anywhere? What has changed?
Well, there wasn't a single bunker that was untouched.
Okay.
So either size or shape. Most of them have been really like reductions, like bunkers that were really out of play, like behind hole number 11. There was a bunker that, nobody ever really saw that. Now that's a grass catch area.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the bunkers that are gone. Let's talk about the bunkers that are removed. So we got one on 14 that's moved.
Yeah, 14 it's moved. Let's see. We got number 18. The left-hand side bunker, green side bunker is gone.
Is that a grass collection
it's
area?
A grass,
I have not because we moved the Masters. I haven't been at Brack since February.
It's like a grass swale.
Yeah, it's got a fairway cut to the left of the green now, and then it rolls into rough. I think one of the couple of holes that will probably be a little easier. The bunker on number 1 went away. That was just in front of the tree, which really didn't get much play at all. I think it probably got more play from, on number 1. Yeah, it probably got more play from number 3 than it did ever.
Understood.
Well, fun fact there, Ruben, is I saw more golf carts in that bunker than I've seen balls. Because people coming down number 3 have just driven right into the bunker.
Nowhere.
Yes, that's a fact. I can count more golf carts in there than balls.
So the bunker redesign, obviously adding drainage was probably really important, but also cutting a little bit down on the maintenance and helping a little bit of pace of play. Some of the holes, like perfect example is number 3, the area that if you can picture the old hole, there were bunkers that cut across the fairway and there was only a sliver of grass that turned to dirt really quick with all the
there's always traffic control ropes right there. And
right.
Yeah.
So now that area is all sodded over, and those bunkers are either they're shrunk or they're moved. In fact, on number 3, those bunkers that went across the fairway are gone, and they weren't really reachable for only but a few people.
They're not reachable for me. So I maybe hit my second shot in them.
Right. Yeah. If you duff your second shot, you might roll one in, but they were kind of out of play, and I think that was really when you go through the course. That was the intention to look at what bunkers were in play and if they were necessary. Like another one is the one on the backside of 3. There used to be one that filled in a little bit, made it a little smaller, kind of taking it out of play. The bunker that used to give me fits was the what I call the Grand Canyon, the one that used to be the left of number 5.
Oh, I love that one.
I was sad with that one. I was sad about that one.
It's not gone. It's actually been split.
That was the best. That was the deepest bunker on that redesign. Right.
Yeah. So now
the one on 15, the one in the front of 15 is deep as shit too. If you're ever dumb enough to be in the bunker on the front of 15, that is a
chipper out of it.
Yeah, it's a lot of those bunkers got a little shallower.
We'll tell that story later on in the show, not when Ruben's on. We don't want to waste Ruben's time with that, but that's a cool story.
But yeah, a lot of the bunkers were just kind of made a little shallower, especially the ones you couldn't see. A lot of the lips were raised. You can see the edges of them to give you a little bit of visual. One of the things that always kind of shocks me is when I'm inside all day and I come outside, that one on 18 green is bright as daylight. It's blinding.
Yeah, the setting sun right on 18 green right there.
Yeah, it's impressive. I really kind of appreciate all the work that went into it. And all the surrounds have also been resodded recently as well. So you're going to see a lot of new sod down. You probably want in 3 weeks, it'll probably all healed up.
Okay, so that's the question that everybody watching wants to hear is in 3.5 weeks, just over 3.5 weeks, when the tour is there, what can we expect for practice rounds? What can we expect for tournament conditions? And it sounds awesome. It sounds like it's going to be great.
I mean, I think there's a couple of edges that are a little thin, and Andrew's basically given the thumbs up to resod any areas on any of the greens right at this point.
Yeah,
give it the best shot.
And let's switch subjects for just a second back to Willow Springs. lots of visible improvements in the course conditions at Willow Springs,
right,
from earlier in the year to last weekend. So
sure.
Shout out to that maintenance team. Shout out to Andrew and Jake, giving them the go ahead to do whatever they need to do to make it better. I overheard a rumor about potentially resodding the putting green at Willow. At Willow.
Yeah.
So
the thumbs up has already been given to that. You know, I mean, I think a lot of times, specifically this season, you know, you just got to a point where it's like, we're not going to wait for it to come back on its own, even though it was, and just, you know, bite the bullet and sod it over and kind of, you know, just cut to the chase.
Well, it's so difficult with the golf boom that we're in right now. There is absolutely no downtime.
Right.
There's absolutely no downtime for pace of play, and that golf course turf needs time to grow. It needs time to grow. And with the amount of traffic, sometimes you're just waiting for it to recover, just never comes because you're just putting footstep after tire after footstep on it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the case. You know, even though the tour's probably not going to be down at Mission Del Lago anytime soon, there's a ton of sodding going on down there, specifically on the green surrounds. And the greens have recovered. I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen the pictures I posted up, but it is night and day from where it was. You know,
Jason, can we pull up a picture of Mission Del Lago quick? Can you make that happen?
Not as quick as you want me to, but I can get one.
He can get us one.
Yeah,
he'll get that done.
Basically,
all that Polana died, right? I mean,
it's all gone. Yeah.
So we are at. Let's talk about the tour schedule coming up.
Sure.
We have Cedar Creek coming up in 2 weeks. The week after the 4th of July, individual stroke play at Cedar Creek. And then we're to Brackenridge Park, the 9-9 two-person that we've been kind of talking about for the last 15 minutes or so. And then we're at Riverside in August.
Yeah, back to
Riverside. And then we're at Mission in August. Stroke play events, little south side swing in the middle of the summer. A little summer south side swing.
I love it.
I love it. Sweltering summer south side swing. Oh, okay. MD, are you listening? There's the marketing on that.
Is that
sweltering summer south side swing.
I heard Riverside was up next for a redo. Is that true?
Yeah, the plan is to close the course at the moment Monday, November 28th, the Monday right after Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow. So like course closure date decided. Riverside,
yeah, I mean, unless something happens, but yeah, November 28th.
Riverside getting redone is a for sure thing. It's happening.
Yes, been approved.
And will 16 be rerouted?
Yes.
Okay. This podcast is gonna spiral out of control really quick. Ladies and gentlemen, for everybody just watching, we have confirmed pending changes. Anything that happens that's an act of God. Riverside scheduled for a redo. The ACGT Tour Planning Committee was aware of that, and Riverside is not on the schedule next year. Question mark. That was a question to Jason Bird.
No.
Yes, it was.
He heard you.
Well, yes. I mean, I had heard this rumor months ago. So yes, the tour schedule is does not include Riverside until after it's reopened.
And we were told not to expect Olmos Basin. Is that still the statement? What should some golfers' expectations be about the final product of Riverside? Are we talking about holes being rerouted? Are we talking about just redoing little bits and pieces? Are we talking about big changes?
Some big changes. I won't touch on all the big changes.
No, don't touch on any of them. Don't touch on any of them. Just
I got another podcast. We got another podcast.
Oh, we got a whole podcast dedicated to watching Riverside.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some welcome additions. A couple things that are going to be a little different about Riverside. You know, we're using the same architect, Jeff Bloom, who did Brack. He did Brack and almost. He did
and San Pedro.
Yeah, and he's given Andrew and the team some plans. Don't look for it to be anything at all like almost. So not of a lot of undulation, things like that. Probably some interesting mounding and some interesting shape bunkers. And there's going to be some
very user-friendly, welcoming municipal golf course?
Yes.
Okay.
And then probably the same approach from the standpoint of the 5 separate tee boxes to give it a little bit more length and a little shorter for the the forward tees.
Take a deep breath, Jason Bird. Not everybody hits at 330.
You do, Trav.
I hit it 247 with a little cut, although it's pretty straight right now. Ruben, the par 3 course. Tell us about the par 3 course at Riverside. What are the plans for that?
That's also going to be redesigned.
Okay.
Jeff is pulling the trigger on that. So I think I just seen some of the preliminaries and some of the emails have been floating around about potential suggestions on what it might look like. Jason fall down some stairs?
I don't know what's going on with Jason. It's not like him.
He's leaning back in his chair.
It's not like him to turn the camera up, but not the volume. So I think everybody thinks you fell down. Is everybody okay?
Very good. Now he's muted.
There we go. Now he's gone for good.
Fell down the stairs.
Right.
I hope you're okay. Yeah. Well, that is amazing. We're super excited to return to Brack. We're super excited for the renovation at Riverside. And what do we got at Cedar Creek? We are at Cedar Creek in a week and a half.
Right.
The comments on the San Antonio Golfers Facebook page have been few and far between about Cedar, minus the rain post that we got tonight. What can we and the golfers expect from Cedar Creek in a week and a half?
Well, as everybody knows, except for tonight, we've been in a drought for a good month and a half or so, maybe longer.
Yeah, maybe longer.
And we had a double whammy at Cedar. We had a pump. We have 2 pumps at Cedar, and one of them went out. It was out for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And so what that did is let Bart and the team there at Cedar Creek water tee boxes and greens, and kind of had to cut back on watering the fairways. But now that pump is fixed. It was fixed, I believe, yesterday. So they're going to get some water on the fairways. Obviously, this rain is going to help.
Yeah, combine that with a little bit of rain. Yep.
Right. So the focus has been on making sure the greens are good and the tee boxes are good, and the fairways are probably running really firm right now. But now with this rain, it's going to help quite a bit.
And that's something to point out too. Everyone says, "Well, water. It's recycled water." Cedar Creek is not recycled water. Cedar Creek gets the same water restrictions that homeowner does right there. So,
exactly. And to dispel another myth, we actually pay for water, whether it's recycled or from the aquifer.
For sure. And recycled water is way more expensive than fresh water. So,
right. And just to give you round numbers, in excess of $20,000 on Brack alone last month. So, I mean, it's not free.
Yes, it is a 6-digit monthly water bill. Yes, 100%. Right. Yes, there is no relationship with the city that grants free water. No, the Edwards Aquifer Authority. That's what they do. You betcha.
Right. So just to add on what you said, you got 2 courses that are on aquifer water, the Northern Hills and Cedar Creek, and the rest of them are on recycled water. But we still have to pay for it all. Just to make sure that everybody understands.
If you pay for every gallon of recycled water. When I was at Northern Hills, that was one of the tasks there as the manager at Northern Hills that I handled at the time, was dealing with the Edwards Aquifer Authority and trying to manage how much water rights you have. And if you're short, you have to buy it from somebody else. I mean, it is a precious commodity that is traded crazily in summer in San Antonio. It was a new experience for me because I'd always dealt with recycled water in San Antonio and Texas before that experience when we took over Northern Hills. So that was eye-opening. And recycled water is more expensive than fresh water. And what every viewer at home, I want you to take away from this podcast, if you're watching, recycled water has a gajillion times more salt in it than fresh water. And that is damaging. Among other things. That is damaging to turf grass. So even though the Alamo City Golf Trail has access to a plethora of recycled water, it really, really has a negative effect on one side of the spectrum for the longevity of the health of that turf grass.
Yeah, I think the biggest proof of that is once it rains, how green the grass gets from the different pH balance you get.
Yes, and
from
that
fresh
is,
water versus
and
recycled water.
And that is the actual SAW's strategic plan for the recycled water on the golf courses for the city of San Antonio is fresh water. It's the fresh water washes the salt content out, and then the salt content from the recycled water builds back up and it washes out, and it's the cycle. But you are exactly right. You will see it just be gorgeous. Willow Springs too, but I meant to say Almost Basin and Brack are going to pop. Brack is going to pop with all that new sod against those bunkers.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys probably haven't played Brack in a while, but you have to watch out for this latitude 36 that's around the green surrounds and all that new sod that's put down. It is horribly thick. And I say horribly because I lost a few balls just hitting a couple practice rounds. Like I couldn't find one.
Well, let's keep it that way. If Robert Cano, superintendent of Brackenridge Park, if you are watching, let's keep the rough long because we got scramble and modified alternate shot. So let's be super fair on the front nine with scramble. You get 2 shots. If you miss the green, that's on you. But on the back nine, chipping down the stretch, an alternate shot in long rough, that sounds like something I want to watch.
Yeah, all that new sod is just blooming right now, and they're constantly watering it, so it's really coming in very, very thick.
Well, let's go around the horn. Let's go around the horn. Questions for Ruben, and then let's go Jason, then Dustin, then I'll go, and then I'll turn it back to MD, and we'll let Ruben get on with his Tuesday night.
I want to go last.
Oh, Dustin, you're up.
I'll go. Yeah, Rube. So you played in a couple 2-man events with Keo, and
yeah,
you guys have kicked some butt when you guys play.
It's old man power we got.
Yeah, man. I think y'all got several first place finishes. I think you've always walked away with the card. So that's sounds like you found a partner in Keo. But I want to know when you're going to come back and play an individual event.
Well, I would have come back this past weekend, although I didn't get any sleep. I had an AC issue that kept me up all night.
Yes, he was a late scratch.
Will do that.
He was a late scratch.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean that's all fixed. And definitely the T-Mans are really fun. Greg's a great friend, and he's fun to play with. Even in the alternate shot, we haven't choked each other yet. So, hopefully keep that going.
Well, that's
deal,
awesome. Man. Jason, you got a question?
I don't.
Well,
no.
I mean, I just ask them. I don't ever hold anything back. So,
well, I can actually let's back up. Let me answer your question about 16 at Riverside as a gift.
Yes. Oh, yes. Tell me. I hate that hole. It's my least favorite hole on trail. I think it is just awful. I hate it.
Well, sentiment is the same here inside the halls, the ACGT, that whole mess. But I just was on the radio this past Saturday, and David Munoz, who was hosting the show for Andy Everett, was saying that he grew up on that course, and I said, okay, so you understand that hole didn't have those trees.
Yes, I saw the picture from 1990, and the trees are like 6 feet tall, and I'm like, okay, well then,
from the 60s to the 90s, there were no trees there.
It basically all the trees are really young and small, and you can hit in the fairway, hit it right over, and just go over. And but the plan is to turn it into a par 4. And then turn the number 17 par 3 into a drivable par 4, similar to
the Almost Basin.
Par 73.
So Ruben said specifically, don't expect Almost Basin, and then the first tease is expect Almost Basin.
Well, and when I talk about Almost Basin, I'm really talking about all the undulation.
And the catches. I get you.
I get you. Like effect.
So, like, where is 16 going to tee off from? Like, carry the water?
No, I think if you look, maybe like. Where the tree on the far right of the pond is? Picture the bunker in that general area. What the tee box is for 17 to basically you're going to be hitting ball over where the current 16 green is.
Understood. Yeah. That makes sense.
So I get it.
Rivers. A lot of people don't know that the original Riverside design didn't cross the river. it
Right.
included the par 3 course. The par 3 course was part of the original 18 holes at Riverside.
Yeah, I seen some plans where it was 21 holes.
Yeah, it was really weird. You played the par 3 course. It was a little different. And then you played 10 and 18 and played the par 3 course. Actually, I think it originally started playing the par 3 course and then to the par 4s and par 5s. And then it wasn't until the Almost Basin year was the Almost Basin like 63 year.
61, 63, I think it was,
and that was
when they did the other side.
The same time they did the highway project for Brackenridge Park and added power to the clubhouse. The Brackenridge Park clubhouse did not have indoor electricity until the 60s. How crazy is that?
That makes sense. If you've seen the wiring, that makes sense.
Yes, it didn't. It's all retrofitted in. It wasn't until 281 was built, and that's when they added electricity in that building. But I believe the same year that Almost Basin was, and it's going to be in the same decade, I'm confident of that they extended Riverside to be 27 holes, and it was a championship course and a par 3 course.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 61 for the second half of Riverside and 63 for Almost, and then
67.
Yeah, or 68, 67, 68 when the 281 came in and cut off Brack.
Yep, and that was the cutoff of the highway on Brackenridge Park. This is another fun fact. There was a city council woman at the time who desperately wanted to save the Almost Basin wetlands. That is the reason why the Brackenridge Park curve wraps around like that, because she got enough votes and saved a wetland, and that cut through the golf course and changed the routing and cut hole number 12 off.
That's cool. Yeah, I love reading about that stuff. It's very interesting.
I can't recommend The Ghosts of Old Brack enough. Mm-hmm. It's such a cool tabletop read. I'm sure it's in that room with Jason Bird right now. I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
It's on my coffee table downstairs.
Oh, it's on his coffee.
It's in my living room.
Fancy.
Well, if you ever really want to interest me, you got to get Reed Myers on.
We don't all have coffee table money.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, I don't have a coffee table, and if I had a coffee table, there certainly would be a book on it.
What would it be on it? Coffee?
A bunch of Kalen stuff,
yeah,
and like iPads and like horse treats, and
crayons.
Maybe it's just a regular table, and I'm using the wrong word here. I don't know.
I mean,
listen, I guarantee you, I'm going to put a cup of coffee on a table and drag it into the living room and Facebook that I have a coffee table now.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Ruben Caraveo, everybody, director of marketing with the Alamo City Golf Trail, the administrator of the infamous / famous San Antonio Golfers Facebook page, where he does an amazing job.
Greatest source of entertainment on the planet.
I mean, it is amazing.
It's taken on a life of its own.
I mean, it is crazy. It grows. You do such a good job administrating that. Give us a little insight into how that goes sometimes. Do you type a post and erase it 7 times before you reply to customers? Tell us a little bit about that Facebook page and how you spend your day on that.
Well, I mean,
that's my tough question for the night, buddy. It's we've had a lot of fun, so I had to throw one driller out there.
Well, I mean, my job is obviously marketing, and I'm a protector of the brand.
Absolutely,
and,
you are.
We're familiar with that.
I think one of the most difficult things for me is to know what I know about how hard people work and how easily it kind of gets torn down based on something that's temporary. People are out there all the time, and Mother Nature is basically fighting against us. From weeds to poana and things like that. And I'm really appreciative of the hard work that goes into it. And I feel like you're picking on my friends, so to speak. But to answer your question, I probably type things maybe 10 or 15 times before I actually post something.
I do the same thing, and then there's still some times that Jason deletes my replies on the Facebook page.
Oh yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that.
Well,
I
don't
think
want
it's
to be.
I think it's so important. I didn't mean to cut you off. I think it's so important to realize to the customers standing in those pro shops on Saturday afternoon as a single trying to walk on that $8 to $10 to $12 an hour employee behind the counter has dealt with 200 difficult customers
Right.
that day and is holding it together the best they can. And then I don't know. I'm just keep referencing. I saw this hilarious cartoon video.
Should I bring my own rake?
Yes, that's the video I'm referencing. I don't want to play the video. I wanted to play the video on the podcast, but it has a lot of bleeps, so we wouldn't get a lot out of it. But
I know the video.
it's a for those of you in the. Did you bring your own? Did we move? How would we move?
Right.
Can I get your earliest tea time? What time would you like to play? Your earliest available. Well, that's 5:45. Absolutely not. That's way too early.
More 9 o'clock.
How about an 8:52? Nope, still too early. Do you have anything at 9? You know, I mean, I think that's great. And you know, I've stood behind those counters a lot.
Right.
I know MD stood behind those counters, and you answer those phones every day. And that funny stuff, I mean, we're laughing about it right now, but that stuff happens every day. It happens every day for real. And then there's the golf boom that we talked about a little earlier is crazy. There's so much compaction on the tee sheets, and the time of walking in at 2:00 on a Saturday in the summer and nobody being there is long gone.
Yeah.
And it's packed until the weekend. So I guess where I'm going with this, book your tee times, come with friends. Singles and twosomes have no standing on the golf course and are going to get paired up every time. Bring friends, play as foursomes, book tee times, show up. If you book for 4 and one of your buddies cancels, call the golf shop and tell them.
Thank you. So I really.
I'm sorry, I was on the operator rant there. I'm sorry.
No, I do have a hard time not calling out, specific customers. I mean, we know who plays, when they play, how often they play, and the guy said, "I'm never going to play XYZ course again." I'm like, "Yeah, you just played yesterday." I
have one more comment. As long as we're talking about the San Antonio Golfers Facebook page group,
right?
And correct me if I'm wrong, Ruben, but you want the customer to contact you directly or the course directly that they had an issue with.
Sure.
First.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay. I'm just making sure the common sense there applies. Let's turn the San Antonio Golfers Facebook page group away from first run complaints. If there's a customer complaint, call the golf course. Talk about it with them rather than going to that Facebook group. It's going to save everybody a ton of time.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's unfortunate, but if you notice the negative comments get, 10 times the responses that a positive one does. And
because somebody chips in with a chippy comment and then it takes up.
I do understand it's the nature of the internet, but there's so many times that they don't reach out to the course. It would be nice. It'd be nice. We could
give you a chance to fix
it.
If there's a problem, you can do something about it before it gets 1,000 comments about how much everybody sucks.
Sure. I have had the fortunate opportunity because, I'm full disclosure on who I am and who I work for, that people have reached out to me directly and I've been able to help them, 9 out of 10 times. And I really do appreciate that because it doesn't need to be a flame fest on the internet to get what you want. I mean, if you just go to the source and I tell everybody who I am.
Yeah. So. I mean, the trail's going to do 300,000 rounds of golf plus this year. 300,000 plus. Ruben just said 4. That's crazy to me. Wow. Congratulations. I hope you hit that number. I want to know if you hit that number. We
did 405 last year.
Holy crap. That's insane. The Alamo City Golf Trail, the Alamo City Golf Trail's fiscal year ends in the end of September. MD, let's make a note to have Ruben on. We can get the statistic after that. Ruben, thank you so much for being here. Guys. We could talk about this Facebook group until we're blue in the face, but I'm assuming we got Steve Robert in the back.
He might be on his computer, but he is not on this channel.
Okay, so I don't know exactly what that means.
May have logged into
talk to Ruben more.
He may have just logged into Facebook thinking it would work. I don't know.
Well,
So
send
is
it-
he
send
on
a
the
text.
Facebook live stream, but not on this
You
stream?
might
Can
be
we send
watching
him
the
the
Facebook
link?
live stream, yelling at the screen, saying, "I'm here, I'm here."
I'm here.
Okay. Well, Ruben, thank you so much for joining us on
Thanks,
Tuesday night.
guys.
You do a fantastic job. Our partnership with the Alamo City Golf Trail wouldn't be where it is today without your voice. So thank you so much for all you do for us.
Thanks for having me on,
And
guys.
thank you for playing, and thank you for being here, buddy.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks, Ruben. Have a good
Yeah.
night.
All right, bye.
So I said we were going to talk to Ruben for 10 minutes. How long was he on the air for?
Not
40
10 minutes,
45.
Okay.
45.
Yeah, 40 to 45. Yeah. That's good.
Well, there's a lot
Which
of
is
content
great.
there.
Yeah. I mean,
There's a lot of content there, and
I love Ruben.
I continue to really want to stress the positive relationship that the Alamo City Golf Trail Tour and the Alamo City Golf Trail have. They are what they have done to allow us to do what we do and grow tournament golf, and to be able to step aside and let the team of ambassadors and myself facilitate elite amateur competitions and create the authority of amateur golf in South Texas is a partnership that exists nowhere else. Bird, what you deal with the trail more now than I do with the scheduling and with Ruben and with Lauren and with Kevin on tee sheets and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about that partnership and how that works.
They're great. I think they recognize the mutual symbiosis we have with each other. So they're always very accommodating, If a course is maybe not in good shape, they're always coming around like, hey, we might want to consider moving this, because they always want to present the best tournament conditions for us, just like we do for our friends, and it's good to see they're proactive about it.
Well, that's awesome. And thank you, Ruben, and thank you, Andrew Peterson, and all the maintenance guys out there, from the superintendents to the part-timers. Thank you for cutting the grass. Thank you for raking the bunkers. Thank you for getting the courses ready day in and day out for tour events and day in and day out for regular play. Do we tell me about Steve Robert? What do we need to do?
We got to send him the link again.
Okay, let's send him the link again.
Well, while we wait, we're going to give away a tour hat here. And
perfect.
So people, yes. And so everybody knows that number 2 at Willow Springs always plays as the hardest hole to par. Right, Dustin?
Yeah, I made an 8 on it.
You made an 8.
Took an 8.
Well, I will tell you that there were 23 greater gross scores other than par than at number 2, right? People are making doubles, triples, quads. They're listed as others in Golf Genius, right? So the first person to comment which hole came in second place for others in the full field, one guess per person. Guess what hole had the most others other than number 2, and you'll get a tour hat of your choice.
I can't honestly. That's a tough one. I think about number 2. I think Saturday when we played, I believe a solid 10 for me, and I know Casey and yourself both had tricky times with it too. I
hit it in the water again. I hit it in the water again.
Also. I hit it in the water.
I went 5 iron, 5 iron, 5 iron, wedge up, make my putt. I played it as safe as
I played with Danny Lee and Dustin Weldon. I really thought I hit a perfect drive right down the right side. And apparently, somehow I got in the water.
If we had put the tee boxes back past the carts and
I'm hitting freaking
for Jason
2 iron off that tee. Yeah. So yeah, 23 others on number 2 for the full field. But what hole do you guys think had the most others? This one blew my mind. This one blew my mind.
I have returned. Tell me the question again. I'm ready.
Okay. Full field. Every golfer in the field, all 121.
Full field.
Gross scores only. There was 23 others. So scores worse than double bogey on number 2. Which is what we expect.
Yep. Number 2.
What hole came in second place for the most others in the full field? This one blew my mind.
Wow. Okay. And it blew your mind. And I heard we're giving away a tour hat.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see.
Maybe
I'm going with
17
17.
or 14. I'm thinking. Ooh, 17's a good one too.
I'm going to go with the in-course out-of-bounds number 10.
I'm gonna go.
That's my official guess.
I'm gonna say 14.
I thought 14.
14's
first.
a good one.
I thought
14 with
first.
where the water is, because it was so dry up top. If you went towards the water off the tee there, and you caught it in the wrong area, that thing would zip into the water. I watched it happen.
Well, I could tell you that the winner in our chat is Andy Torres. It was number 17.
Oh, what?
With 22 others.
Wow.
I mean, that's triple
Good
or
job,
worse.
Andy.
Number 17? Why? People
A lot of people trying to cut the corner.
Higher handicaps trying to cut the corner and not make it.
Trying to
Well, I'll tell you what. That was into a quartering left to right wind on Saturday. That tee shot was into a headwind from like 10 o'clock. And that is not helping anybody who moves the ball left to right cover that corner.
The pin was back left. The pin wasn't in the easiest of locations.
I know who picked that hole.
I'm sure Birdman.
No, it was not me at all.
Oh, okay.
The course setup committee had multiple moving parts this past week at Willow Springs.
It's a number 10, of course, was third place because the on-course OB. So 10 was a good guess by anyone in the comments. But if you would have asked me that question, my initial response to that would have been 14 or 10 for sure. I just never thought. I know 17 is a tricky hole, but second place for triples or higher, I would have never thought.
17 didn't cross my mind once. I thought 9, based on the tee box position at 9. Do we have? Let's switch subjects back to Steve Robert. Do we have anything from Steve Robert? No. Okay, terrific. This is. I want to go. I'm going to take 100% responsibility for Steve Robert not being here.
Steve Roberts just jumped
Steve
up.
Robert just entered.
Oh,
there we go. I take no responsibility at all.
Why did we say anything?
Terrific. I'm glad Steve is here. Let's MD. What's our lineup look like for the rest of the evening? We've got Steve Robert, and then events open for registration, and then Willow recap.
Steve Roberts, open registration. We can touch kind of on some new apparel and stuff like that if we want, or we can kind of save that for next week.
Let's save that for next week. We know we have an off week next week. Let's save the merchandise segment for next week, and let's. I don't want to cut Steve short, but before we bring Steve on, it is 100% my fault that Steve is tardy to his interview. I did not send him the link. I did not. It is my fault. I will communicate better with the ambassador in charge of media relations in the future. This is my fault. At this time, I'm ready to talk to second flight personal best score winner, Steve Robert.
Let's bring Steve in.
Steve's a black screen. Nice.
Steve, you out there?
Steve doesn't have lights.
Steve, welcome to the show. I apologize for sending you the link exceptionally late. And by that, I mean 3 minutes ago.
Yes, definitely. I hear you talking about me, but I couldn't get on because I didn't have a link that someone was supposed to send me an hour ago.
Well, it's my fault. I apologize. I assumed, and shame on me for assuming. You know what that happens. You know what happens when that happens. I thought MD.
Steve Roberts won't give me his phone number.
I'm gonna say right now that Steve Roberts' phone number was in the media guide on this year's travels trip. That's what I'm gonna come to.
Because he knew I was.
Yeah, it was.
Call.
It was. Yeah.
No, my fault. Steve Robert, thank you for joining us tonight. We are here to talk about your flight win at Willow Springs. Congratulations. Give us your opening statement on Willow Springs and your flight win.
Well, let me tell you, I had a great group with Tyler having the ace. He was shooting darts all day long. Just had a great group of guys. And I tell you, my round was like every other round that I play. The only difference is that I had 11 putts on the front 9 and 13 putts on the back 9. Wow. So I made every
24
putts.
24 putts. Jason Bird, can you look up a statistic on how big of an outlier that is, please?
That is,
for me.
I would love to know. I think that's great. Task force
24 putts is
numbers. I mean, that's insane. So, Steve, I'm looking at your scorecard right now, and I want to know what's rolling through your mind in second flight on Sunday when 12 handicap Steve Robert birdies hole number 9 to shoot even par on the front.
wow.
You make it sound like that's unusual for anybody in the second flight.
Well, it's not unusual if you win the second flight, right?
Second flight average, Steve.
Should I tell you about my round at Pecan Valley where I shot a 34-48?
That's
No, I want to hear, Steve, I want to hear what you were thinking after you made the birdie to shoot even on the front 9 at Willow.
I said, I hope I don't screw up the back is what I was thinking.
And then you parred 10 and parred 11 and parred 12 and then had your first bit of adversity on the day. Tell us how you grinded through 13, 14, and 15.
Well, I 3-putted 13.
Oh, gosh. How many putts did you have on the back 9?
13.
Putts with a
You had 13
Oh, wow.
putts on the back 9.
Wow.
So that is
3 on one hole.
That is 3 on one hole. 3 for
That's
13.
10 putts in 8 holes.
Yes.
That's 10 putts in 8 holes.
So what was happening is I was either having to chip or it was just off the green and then putting. I could tell you for the first 4 holes, I made an 8-footer, a 6-footer. I putted from off the green on number 4 for 20-footer.
That's a chip in. That's not even a putt. That's
not even a putt.
That's
so
23 putts.
Yeah, 23. So it was just a day of putting, and with Tyler playing so well, having to watch his ace and all that, I think it was just us going back and forth on it. So yeah, I made a bogey.
Steve Robert is joining us right now. We can't see him because his camera's black. We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to give you an interview evaluation on the lack of camera.
I'm computer illiterate. My daughter actually had to go in here and tell me how to even get on this thing. So
that's okay. That's okay. We appreciate you being here. I'm just teasing. Questions around the horn for Steve. Let's go. Jason Bird, MD, Dustin. Let's grill away Steve Robert.
Steve Robert over under 5 driver divots at Willow Springs.
No driver divots.
Oh. And he played so well. Maybe correlation.
It was 100% putting, because if I didn't make all those putts, I'd be where I normally shoot, which is 80 to 85. I mean, it just was, the putts were rolling. And
I can't calculate your strokes gained putting because I don't know all the distances of your putts. So that's the only thing I can't calculate like Travis wanted me to.
So
I'm sorry.
2 and 17 played the hardest from a scoring perspective on the field. Which hole was like the toughest hole for you that day? Obviously a bunch of pars out there, but like, was there one hole that you were just kind of sitting there like that was the true grind to save par on?
Well, I didn't say par on it, but 14 is always the hardest for me out there.
14 plays the second hardest hole.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and 17 sets up because of the way my ball flight goes, so I usually don't have trouble on that one.
Yeah, that's his hole right there.
Holding that thing all the way around.
and 2 the same way, but 2 getting it off the the tee box, and luckily I'm close to 60, so I get to hit from the white tees. It makes it a lot easier for us. But yeah,
Steve,
14 was the hardest.
Steve Robert is in the senior category, which on ACGT Tour tournament golf is 50 plus. Gets the opportunity to play from a forward set of tees, and I vaguely remember fainting in the scoring area.
Yeah,
when I
vividly remember you.
Yeah, you almost fell on a stabbing device.
I wish
almost fell
Steve's
the last
camera
one.
was on, because I wanted to see the fist pump and the that he let out when he saw me faint when I saw his score. It was the yeah. I mean, it was great. It was
I loved his motivational speech.
He did give a speech,
because I think it applies to everybody in every flight who didn't win.
Steve, can you give us your recap of your victory speech?
Basically, was y'all need to play better.
Boom! I love it. I love it. That is second flight greatness from Steve Robert.
Chops.
I got in the car and went straight to San Pedro.
I love it so much. Dustin, what you got for Steve?
Steve, so one win, got the cookie going. I think you jumped pretty big, I mean, I think a stat we saw was, you could be, I think we'll release the points, but could be in the top 10 at this point early on. What are you looking forward to the rest of the season?
Well, I'm just hoping my putting continues. Yeah, it's just that's been a struggle.
Unbelievable putting. 23 putts in a row.
What's the bell curve on that, Travis? Is that putting going to continue?
So far off the curve.
I believe we call that term regressing to the mean.
I think
with a 3-putt.
Yes.
Pretty damn good, Steve.
It was unbelievable. It was unconscious. It was, I mean, even the guys I was playing with, it was just everything was going in. I made an 18-footer on 18 to save par.
I'm less impressed with Tyler's hole-in-one now.
I am too. I mean, Tyler makes
awesome,
a hole-in-one.
Tyler
Tyler's second flight, Tyler Pascal, on his birthday. Congratulations, Tyler, if he is watching.
Yeah.
I know he's out of town for work right now and has spotty service, but congratulations. Happy birthday. There is nothing better than your first hole-in-one on your birthday. But unfortunately, you didn't win, and you lost to this guy, Steve Robert, by 2. Second flight bonus points, propels into the top 10, which we'll talk about as soon as we hang up the phone with you, Steve. Jason Bird, what do you got for Steve?
I mean, I don't have anything for Steve. I'm currently on Amazon ordering him a web camera.
Oh, terrific. That's excellent. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Jason.
Steve Roberts, going into Brack, who are you partnering with?
Chris Hughes, of course.
Oh, Chris Hughes, Steve Robert, Brackenridge Park, 9-9.
9-9. Alternate shots.
A bag knife would be interesting.
Chris might kill you.
I have a great Steve Robert story. As long as we've got Steve on the air. We won't tell the whole story. We'll just tell one fun fact about it, because we touched on Steve's ball flight a little bit ago. And yes, I didn't say that. That was Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
Wow, we're good there. Okay, yes. So Steve's ball flight, and this was perfect. And I want you to know that it is a tour championship ball flight. I want to lead with that. This is a tour champion ball flight. This is a team member. This is a finalist in the playoffs, and this is a flight winner on tour's ball flight. So this is a ball flight that's producing checks
victory
on the ACGT tour
cookies.
And bonus points, okay, and cookies, and it's producing victory points. Now, I gave Steve Robert his last fitting for his golf clubs, and his ball flight is very low to the ground, and it's very left and right fast. So it comes a little over the top. The angle of attack is very sharp. It is sometimes divots with the driver. Steve, is that an accurate statement?
That is accurate.
Okay. And then the ball launches left, and it carves back around the bend on number 17 at Willow. Great.
Starts over 8 green at Willow, and then ends up
Yeah, he's
like
got
in
started
the
over
middle of
box of
17
8.
fairway.
So now that everybody's on the same page with Steve's ball flight, and I'm glad right now that his camera's off because he'd be about as red as the live for an hour icon up in the corner of the screen there. Here's the fun fact of the day. During the fitting for Steve's clubs, I had to cut the fitting short because not only did Steve break one lie board, Steve broke 2 lie boards, and I didn't have another lie board to continue the fitting. So that is my fun Steve Roberts golf story that I've got for the night. Steve Robert, congratulations so much on your flight
Good job,
win.
Steve-O.
We will let you take it away tonight. What do you have to say to everybody watching at home? Coming up on tour, a force to be reckoned with, Steve Robert. The floor is yours.
I've always said that we appreciate everything you guys do for the tour, especially Travis. And I've been here from the beginning. And the group of guys and the new guys that are coming in, it is absolutely great to have that type of competitiveness. I enjoy going in afterwards, enjoying beers with you guys. It is absolutely the most fun you could have on a golf course, and I appreciate everything that you guys do. And the other 240 guys, or how many it is now, I'm sure feel the same way. So thank you for everything.
Well, thank you so much, Steve. We are here for you guys, and it doesn't work without you. So thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on your flight win, your bonus points. You got to see a hole-in-one. How was the victory cookie? What did you do with the victory cookie? That's my last question.
Well, when I walked in, I said, I want a cookie. And she goes, that's all you did is want a cookie for winning a tournament?
At least Chris Hughes didn't steal the cookie from you.
That is true. Enjoyed it very much.
Well, awesome. Steve, again, congratulations. We'll see you at Cedar Creek in a couple weeks. And great playing and superb putting. Maybe challenging somebody for best putter.
Challenging Casey Grant for best putter on tour. That's what I heard.
There you go.
For that title, Casey.
Maybe ACGT Tour the match. Champ versus second. Casey versus Steve on the putting green.
Yep.
I love it. I love it.
Great one.
Y'all
Steve, thank you so much for joining us, buddy. We appreciate
Congrats,
it.
man.
Take care. Bye.
Yep.
Have a good night.
That was awesome. I love Steve Robert.
23 putt.
I mean, that is such a cool stat.
With a 3 putt.
With a 3 putt.
Great.
That's the thing that I noticed about Willow. Now, of course, I didn't play, so you guys can back me up. But if you were close to the flagstick, if you were within 25 feet, it was good. I mean, it was good.
Yeah,
it was above average.
It's fine.
It was
Fine.
it was the areas that they picked for pins were very good in ensuring that, you know what, pretty good shots to the green still gave you good lines.
Yeah, the only one that was sketch was 13. That one there was just no way to avoid it. But yeah, I agree. If you hit good approach shots, you had pretty solid putts at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's evidenced by Sean shooting 5 under. You're not shooting 5 under on cracked
Good point.
greens.
Yeah.
Good
If
point,
you're
Bird.
if you're striking the ball well, you're gonna have a good putt at it.
Hey, I'll tell you what, he was super cool and super cool as a cucumber right there on the podcast when we asked him what it was like to birdie number 9 to shoot even par on the front 9. But he was like a kid in the candy store. He was bopping all over the place. Yeah, heck yeah, he was for sure. And we appreciate the comments at the end, Steve, and thank you so much. But it doesn't work without the amateur tour golfers. And we know that is a big leap of faith to come play in your first tournament, your first real tournament. We know what that's like. We know what that unteachable moment feels like. And you know what? Here on the ACGT Tour, we help teach those unteachable moments. And we are here for golfers of every skill level, from championship flight, which was +3 to 4.5 at Willow, all the way up to fourth flight, which was 20 to 36, and everything in between. And the competition in those middle flights is tight. Woo! So there's a place for everybody on tour, and we say it all the time: equity across the flights. same points division, same point distribution, same prize allocation within every flight. Playing against light golfers, skins only against light golfers, and every time you sign up for a tournament, you got a chance for those victory cookies and those victory bonus points. MD, what do we got coming up next? We got points and we got flight winners.
Let's talk a little bit about points. I think we're two events in now. We can finally say there is a true leader.
I love it. Let's pull it up. We are after event 2. We are 20% of the way done with the spring season. Here's our 2022 summer point standings, courtesy of head ambassador Casey Graham, in charge of the point standings for the summer season. Thank you so much to Casey and your hard work. You will notice a new column all the way on the right side of the point standings. Correct me if I'm wrong, Casey. I know you're watching. That's going to be there every event throughout the regular season and in the playoffs. So we're going to get to see movement for the first time in those tournament tour point standing distributions. So really excited about that. And you see back-to-back victories for Sean Vidal and Tim Bowers. Those guys stay T1. And Ernie Cannon. Ernie Cannon rounds out the top 3. Those top 3 spots are so important because, Dustin, what are those top 3 spots get you?
They're going to get you a spot on the South Texas Match Play Challenge team.
They are going to get you a spot on the team, on the ACGT Tour South Texas Match Play Challenge team. They will join 4 members already: Dustin Hassan, Scotty Williams, Willie Nichols, and in first place, Sean Vidal right here, already on the team. That means that it would bump to number 4, Masters net winner Mark Kacheski. In 5th place, there's a 3-way tie. We've got CJ Gomez. I know he's watching right now. Dustin Weldon and Sean Sexton, our sponsor with Goosehead. It's always nice when Sean's in the top 10. It's another sponsor plug there for me. He is up 6 spots with his 3rd place gift card. Brad Haddon is tied for 8th, and Greg Graff, that's Ambassador Greg Graff, in tie for 8th. And Steve Robert with his win. Look at that. Up 71 spots into the top 10.
Wow.
So that
money moves.
That's what 23 putts will get you.
Now, it's really early in the season, right? So that kind of movement is common here in the early season. But I'll tell you what, we say it every week, and it sounds so cliche. Every point matters. Yep. Every place gives a different point value on the distribution, and every one of those 8-footers that goes in for par is another place up that ladder, and 10 more points, and 10 more points, and 10 more points until you get to first place, and you get the victory cookie and the victory bonus points, and you can shoot up 71 spots from number 81 to number 10, and all of a sudden Steve Robert is at every event, and he is engaged, and he is battling for a spot on the team.
Yep.
He is always at every event, and he's always engaged.
Agreed.
Steve Robert is such a nice guy that he bought Tyler's beers after his hole-in-one rather than the other way, which is tradition.
Oh, Steve Robert. Why did someone say that? Well, Steve Robert was on camera. I mean, that is genuinely, sir. I mean, that is.
It is.
I mean, that is excellent.
Tyler's like, I ain't got the funds for all this, and Steve's like, here's a 12-pack of beer, boys.
I love it. I mean, that's great. Steve Robert was on the ACGT Tour Travels trip this year. He is at every event that he can possibly be at. He is a great customer and a victory cookie earner early in the summer season. A force to be reckoned with. Those were the point standings. Those point standings will be updated online, acgttour.golf tomorrow. And there'll be a newsletter later this week with a link to those updated point standings, updated handicaps, and results from Willow, which is my segue back to MD. That's the last bullet point on your list, buddy, unless there's something I'm missing.
That is really the last bullet point we had. I mean, it's been a great show. We had a lot of stuff going on. That was really my list. Some things went off. We talked to Ruben for a while.
I think it was great.
Well worth the time.
We're gonna table the talk about the next limited edition ACGT Tour merchandise order to next week. You'll have to tune in next week, Tuesday night, for the next ACGT Tour Power Hour to get the teaser about the next limited edition merchandise.
I think we already have a teaser right on screen right now.
I think we do as well, but we'll let it go at that. Jason, any more stats that you want to dish out from Willow?
I mean, the only other thing that really stuck out to me was number 1 played as the 3rd hardest hole on.
It was a tricky little pin there on that far left.
It was definitely a difficult flag, and
for champ flight, it was the 2nd hardest hole in the entire field.
I bogeyed the
number 1.
I think number 1 can play hard. For me, I feel that if you don't go to a range first and you walk right into number 1,
almost
you got that
a
trouble
5.0 scoring.
You can push it right into the trees.
Number 1.
That pin was tricky. If you were above the hole, I went more middle of the green, right side, and I mean I had to play it way above the hole, and it curved and came right back down.
There's 2 comments, and one of them Dustin hit on. I agree completely. There's no driving range at Willow Springs, and that is a tough first tee shot. There is gone left, and there is number 10 fairway right, and 80% of those tee shots end up right of the cart path on 1. And then the second thing I want to comment on is, and we touched on it with Ruben just a bit, they are resodding that putting green. The putting green is the worst condition green at Willow Springs. Every green on the golf course was better than the putting green. So
by far.
No driving range combined with a putting green that acted maybe just a touch different than number 1 green, and we see a recipe for so championship flight number 1 most difficult hole, of course, is number 2 across the board. Accurate statement? Yes.
That is not an accurate statement.
Perfect. Let's hear that. I want to hear that. What hole for what flight played more difficult than number 2 at Willow Springs? This
the
is
only
alert.
flight. The only flight that
alert. If we need an alert emoji.
Yes. The only flight where number 2 is the hardest hole is champ flight.
Championship flight, the number 2 hardest hole is the hardest hole for championship flight.
Every other flight it was 17.
Every other flight was 17.
I'm telling you, I couldn't believe how hard 17 was playing.
My camera didn't freeze. I was processing. I didn't know what to do. Really?
Well, yeah. I think 17, even depending on the line that you took, Jason had it on Saturday. I watched Chris Espinoza hit a stellar drive, and he still put it through the fairway, and got stuck behind a tree. Hit a great second shot, but 17, I mean, depending on the line and how big a swing you took, it could do a little bit of damage there.
Okay, everybody watching.
I'll tell you this. 17 was the hardest for all their flights. It was 13th hardest for champ flight. So champ flight's doing something different than the lower flights.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I want to talk about.
Let's everyone watching at home.
Great stat.
Yeah, I'm so glad I circled back. I was ready to go on to.
I want to hear this.
Yeah, I think this is great. So fun fact, everybody who had a bogey or worse on 17 at Willow, play it differently the next time. I challenge you to play it differently next time. If you hit driver and made bogey, hit 4-iron off the tee.
Yep.
If you hit iron off the tee and made bogey, hit hybrid or up to the corner.
What do you got, Jason?
Play it differently.
I hit 4-iron. I hit driver with you the day before. It made bogey because we couldn't find the ball. So I hit 4-iron in the middle of the fairway. It still made bogey anyway.
Well, nobody watching, listen to Jason right now.
No one. I had my caddy Casey told me to hit driver on Saturday. I made bogey. I hit my 5-iron on Sunday and made par.
I, for those of you that know my golf swing, I hit these little cuts, and I would just, when I played I've played Willow the third most times of any course on the trail. I've played Northern Hills the most, and then I've played Brackenridge Park, and then I played Willow. Willow, fun fact, Willow is where I started my Alamo City golf career, was at Willow Springs in the clubhouse there. That's fun fact. Not a lot of people know that. So I played Willow a bunch in the beginning, and that hole is very, very, very easy if you play it 200, 150. That hole is very easy. So I challenge everybody who made bogey or worse there this past Sunday in the tour event to do something different, right? Do something different off the tee that sets you up for a different shot into that green that changes that perspective. Hole number 17 at Willow, nobody here would have sniffed that as the most difficult hole. Nobody.
I guess
somehow Andy. What did Andy? Can we look up what Andy made? Oh, Andy wasn't there. Andy wasn't at Willow.
But I mean, I can tell you that over half the field, full field, more than half. In fact, hold on.
I love it. Let's keep going. This is
exact percentage. 62% of the field made bogey or worse.
62% of the field made bogey or worse. I implore you. I am announcing myself as y'all's golf coach right now. I implore you to do something different. Do something different. Change the thought process on that tee. It is quirky. It is weird. Do something different. I'm done. MD, let's I'm so glad we circled back. That was really cool stat. That may be the best stat. That may be the best stat we've had on the podcast.
Stat in a while. I haven't heard a
terrible stat, boy. I'm just very bad at it.
I mean, this was a great one. I never in a million years would have sniffed 17 there. Let's recap Willow Springs, MD. Let's turn the segment over to Dustin, and let's roll through the flight winners with some
let's
pictures
do it. Where
there.
we starting?
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Woo! For everybody just tuning in, we are live on the ACGT Tour Power Hour podcast. My name is Travis Salkowski, alongside Dustin, Hassan, and Jason Bird, with our host, Michael DerManuelian. A big shout out to our sponsors, Sean Sexton and Goosehead Insurance, and Rick Hoinsey and Elevated Logistics, and The Cake Place and More for our Victory Cookie sponsorship. Thank you for all you guys do. Let's take it away, recapping ACGT Tour Spring Event number 2, Willow Springs. Ladies and gentlemen, I turn it over, Dustin, Hassan.
Yeah, let's do it. We got picks. Let's roll through them.
I got picks. You say the name, I throw the pick.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, we can start right at champ. We'll go right in the champ flight, huh?
Let's start.
Sean Vidal, we talked about it earlier during the point cast. His second win in a row of the season. 5 under, round 67.
Number one in the point standings right now. Currently
some
on
great
the
playing,
team.
Sean.
He shot a 67 personal best. That is the ACGT Tour
Course record at Willow from the Green Tees.
That's great.
So congratulations, Sean Vidal. I know he's watching at home right now. Congratulations. I mean, it was talk about somebody else who was hot with the putter. I didn't see any of it, but he was like, man, I mean, I played good, but I played great with the putter. So that is really encouraging to hear from somebody as good as Sean and somebody in the middle flights like Steve. I putted good because the green quality around the greens was acceptable enough for me to bury 22 putts only.
Yep.
Great playing, Sean.
Yep. Fun fact, I think his putter is probably as long as my 6-iron.
It's as tall as I am.
It's like a 40-inch putter.
It's
like a 40-inch putter. It's like a 3-iron.
That is 67. Side? That is 67, 5 under with a pair of bogeys.
Jeez.
Sean Vidal also bogeyed 17.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
17 had the second most eagles in the field too. So you want just 17 is just
such a great bell curve. I want to see the bell curve for 17 at Willow next week.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, MD. Sorry.
Yeah, no, we're rolling on. We're going to go on the net side. Mike Grosso, 8 under on the net side. Now, I played with Mike, and he got off to a rough start, but then he started stringing some birdies together. He birdied 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 in a row. He had a 6-footer on 13. for 5 in a row. Just missed it a little bit on the low side. Came back, made another birdie on 17.
Yeah, so he
Mike played
birdied
great.
17. Birdied
Yeah, he
17,
birdied 17. So
to win the net side by 1. So, I mean, there's the opposite side of the bell curve.
That's gaining 3 strokes right there.
A birdie on 17 was 3 strokes gained on the field. I mean, that is an amazing metric. This has been a really cool stats week. Quietly, out of nowhere, stats have been awesome.
And then we're just going to roll on. We're going to go right into first flight. Keep it on the gross side. David Miller. Now, this was cool on first flight gross. +3 was the winning score. Now, there was a 6-way playoff.
There was a 6-way playoff at 75. I mean, this was amazing.
There at 75.
Yeah, they were all on the back patio watching it. I was telling Travis how cool it was. They're all out there watching the other golfers come in to see.
I believe
who's
it was
gonna win
David Miller's
gross.
birthday as well.
Yeah. Shares a birthday with Tyler Pascal.
So that's
What
pretty
a
cool.
guy.
Winning on his birthday, winning in a 6-way playoff. So pretty damn good job there, David.
I mean, you're exactly right, Jason. There was a time when almost all of first flight was on the patio at Willow watching number 18 and talking amongst themselves and being really engaged because there were 6 people at 75. There were 6 people at 75, 2 people at 76, and 1 person at 77, and then 5 more at 79. So,
and it's all available on your personal smart
There were
device, so everyone knows what's going on, so everyone can watch it come.
Everyone's
There were
walking. That's
people in the
16.
clubhouse making an impassioned plea for a true playoff because
Yes,
they were
there are
so.
16 people. 16 of 24 people in first flight were in the 70s. I mean, Jason made a comment when the podcast first started. He shot 74 and took 6th place in championship flight. Like, not even close. 6 is really 12th, right? So the 6-way playoff for David Miller to come out on top. I mean, that's amazing. So somebody in that playoff is getting 150 points, and the person who comes out on the bottom of that 6-way playoff cashes a gift card still, cashes 4th place gross, but only 70 points. So less than 50% of the points in the distribution of that scorecard playoff. That's awesome.
It took a lot of holes to go through that.
I have told people this, that you need to know what the 1, 2, 3 handicaps are.
Yep.
You have to concentrate and play those holes well.
Bird, you can't stress that enough. I think you're 100% accurate, and I think that there's a lot of golfers out there that don't recognize that going into a round, and that is vital information to know, I think. Great point, Bird.
So all gift card winners in first flight on the gross side had the same score, and 3 of the 4 gift card winners on the net side had the same score. So scorecard, I mean, it's insane how tight the middle flights are in the handicap distribution, and the first, second, and third flight brought it, and it was when was the last time we had a 6-way playoff? I mean, that's great.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
When was the last time we had 4 people make the team?
Yeah, that was lots of ties.
That might be
ties make it. Ties make it so cool.
We're doing hole-in-ones every month now too. I mean, the level of game, the level of play.
The tour is on fire right now. Let's keep it going as long as we can. All right, moving on.
Let's round it off on the net side. Mark Kacheski, -9. That was also in a scorecard playoff. Now, Mark is our PC Masters net tournament champion.
Name on the jacket this year. So
name on the jacket this year. He's continuing his role, his fine play. So good job, Mark. Keep it up, man.
I think Mark is the new bubble boy. He's the new MD Dustin. He's with this score, he's going to be that guy who's right between first flight and champ flight. Where 1 week it's going to be in champ flight and 1 week it's going to be in first flight.
That's where I want to be.
You don't want to be there.
I want to buy one tournament in first flight.
No, it doesn't work like that. Task Force runs on stats and numbers. You earn those scores in the tournament database. There is absolutely no manipulating the ACGT Tour Tournaments database. So tournament scores go in. You earned it. Those flights are distributed based on your average tournament score on tour. So, and Mark's is plummeting. and it could change. Your flight could change based on the strength of the field at any given event. Talk to these two guys on the right side of your screen. Dustin and MD were in championship flight this past weekend, and they spent most of the first spring season in first flight.
I literally played 5 events in champ flight and 5 events in first flight.
I haven't seen.
It was
Now
literally
that is a crazy stat because there were 4 partner events that you played with Jonathan Aiken in. So let's not use that as the stat.
I haven't been in champ flight in a while, and I was.
Well, I'm using it, damn it.
I love it. That's great. No, and you were in champ flight in a stroke play event this week, and let's correlate that back just a couple ticks here, and I'm just spitballing. Dustin spent most of half of the season in champ flight, half of the season in first flight. Plays most of the stroke play events in first flight. Wins, earns a spot on the team, and then we immediately see the handicap go down enough to be in championship flight for the first stroke play event of the summer season. It's just showing the fluidity of that handicap database going up and down with your tournament scores and a little bit of how that works. And that was a good
And
segment.
Trav, it's current plus past 2 years?
That is correct. So the same calculation that a tournament score would be in your tabulation for a big handicap metric system versus the averages of tour scores that we calculate. We're calculating actual data that happened versus your projected ability, right? So GIN and handicap and the traditional golf index measures your potential, right? The pinnacle of your golfing ability is your score. The ACGT Tour Handicaps database manages historical facts, right? This actually happened. It's in a database. It's tabulated into an index that translates proprietarily to the course ratings. And it is what it is. You earned it. Your entry fee earned your spot in the database. It is non-manipulatable, and it is rock solid. And a 6-way playoff in first flight just really, really hammers home how tight those handicaps are. 36 handicappers shooting net 71s show how tight that handicap database is.
Yep.
Great question.
Great job. We're going to roll right along. We talked to Steve Robert, second flight, our gross winner, +3, 75, wins by 2. You heard the man, 23 putts.
There's a picture of his face. That's what he looks like, everybody.
Just in case everyone wondered what he looked like.
Shirt he's wearing. Look at that shirt.
That is a Whistling Straight shirt, I believe, correct?
That is a Whistling Straight shirt.
Yeah. Just to flex that on everyone.
I think the putting definitely propelled it. He said it. That's some pretty damn good playing. Anytime you can keep it in the low 20s, mid 20s putting in a round. So
it's stupid good.
I mean, it's Casey Graham numbers right there. So I think that's great. Great job, Steve. And then on the net side, Jonathan Harder, -10 on the net side. I believe, Jonathan, this is not his first cookie recently. Trav, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he has.
We definitely have given him gift cards recently.
Maybe
Masters, he won a gift card at Northern for sure. And Cookie here for sure in the picture.
Shout out the cake place and more. I really like the range baskets. I thought they were really
that is
good.
a really cool design.
Yeah.
Really good. So good job there, Jonathan. Just going to roll right along in the third flight. Tim Bowers, we saw him in the point standings. Tim Bowers continuing his great play, +5, 77. Damn good job there. Third flight gross. That was a 3-shot win over Scott Williams. Scott Williams, South Texas Match Play Challenge team qualifier in the spring season. So continuing his good play as well. But Tim Bowers, hell of a job there. Your third flight gross winner.
I mean, that is solid.
Yeah. And then on the net side, Nathan Cood, -10. There he is, two shot win over Matt Tomerlin. So.
And look
Nathan,
at that. Look at that too on third flight after we get past Nathan Cood there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-way playoff for second, third, and fourth on the net side in third flight. So just super tight at the top of these leaderboards, and Nathan edged it out there.
So good job, Nate. Keep it up, man. We're gonna keep rolling along. Fourth flight. Lazaro Gonzalez +8. We've seen Lazaro. He's collected a cookie before. I believe at Almas. I gave him one. Continues the strong play. Hell of a score. That's another scorecard playoff.
Another scorecard playoff.
Willie Nichols, South Texas Match Play Challenge Team qualifier in the spring season. So, again, keep it up. Some people are playing well, and they're playing well consistently. And so, it kind of just shows, you got to bring your A game out here. People are, they're coming for it. They love the competition. Lazaro continuing the great play.
CJ Gomez was right there.
Playoff.
Ernie Cannon, Roland Torres, Brian Spencer rounds out the top 4 there in fourth flight. So tight at the top of the leaderboard. Good golf. Willow Springs, for all the course condition negative publicity that it got leading up to the event, I thought it was great.
I thought it was fine.
I thought it was really good, and I thought there was tons of improvement shown. Congratulations to the flight winners. Enjoy those victory
and I just want
cookies.
to round out on the net side. We got Roland Torres on the net side. 1-shot win over second place over Ernie Cannon there. So, really good job there, Roland. Really good job to all our flight gross and net winners.
Ernie Cannon in second place, Joe Workman 1 shot, Jermaine Bowen 2 shots.
Everything really tight.
Really tight at the top of the leaderboard. Really cool. Good job, DH. Good job, MD. Another great show. MD, what we got?
That's really it. We've got Cedar coming up. That stroke play. Make sure to get signed up, Bird. Any idea where we're at on numbers as far as sign up goes there?
I was just looking at it. I'm probably going to have to ask for more tee times. We're pretty full.
Perfect. So let's up the enthusiasm there for everybody still watching us at 10 after 10 at night. Let's up Jason Bird's sense of urgency there. Guys, register for Cedar Creek. Jason, we are 10 days, 12 days before the event, 2 weeks out still, a full weekend to go. We will sell out. Sign up early. ACGTtour.golf or AlamoCityGolfTrail.com/tour. Both take you to the same place. Register for Cedar. Get your team together. Register for Brackenridge Park, the 9/9, July 24th. But next up is Cedar. That is July 9th, Saturday. Is that accurate?
Saturday the 9th. That's right.
Saturday the 9th.
Bracken's pretty full too. Might have to kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
This again, we talk about this every week, is get signed up early. I've said it before. I have the Alamo City Golf Tour link on my phone. I click it every Sunday and Monday, and I'm always looking to see, I've made it a habit. I want to be the first person to sign up. I was actually very disappointed to see I was number 8 to sign up for Willow.
Yeah, you're 6 to sign up for Willow.
When you get those newsletters and it says hurry up and register,
it's not joking.
I promise you we're not lying. There's been a waiting list, double digits for almost every event this year. Sign up, earn those points, win those victory cookies, cash those skins, and let's and let's rock and roll. Let's go around the horn. Let's wrap it up tonight, and we're gonna have a great off weekend show. I know there's tons of bullet points we didn't touch tonight. Merchandise. We got course conditions we got to talk about. We got so much to talk about. Off weekend show next week, Tuesday night at 8:30. We'll be back with the ACGT Tour Power Hour. Shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to Andy Torres, NothingisOB South Texas Golf Podcast. Tune in to him on Thursday nights. You can always find a link to his podcast, his show, Thursday nights. I know he was watching. I saw a couple comments come through. I have no idea who he has on this week, but tune in. It's good stuff. It's good golf content. Good golf content at the local level, which is what we are all doing here. So, Jason Bird, final thoughts tonight?
The easiest hole in the field was not 10. It was 15.
Okay.
I would guess 15, okay. I think.
Yeah,
okay.
DH?
I just want to say, yeah, you're right. Off week. We got Independence Day coming up. I hope everyone enjoys their time. Maybe get some time with family. Celebrate our Independence Day, and sign up for Cedar. Can't wait to get out back to Cedar. Individual stroke play at Cedar. Those
Greens
are
are
always
great
fun.
at Cedar.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Fairways or runways too. It's awesome. It's playing.
Well, I need it. I love it. I'm looking for that speed slot, Bird.
Yes,
Hey,
you
listen,
are.
It is June the 28th. We are close to the middle of the summer season on the ACGT tour, and there's 8 events left in the regular season.
It's going to go
there's
fast.
only 8. There's only 8 events left. Our next event is in July. The next partner event is at the end of July, and then we're talking about the sweltering summer South Side swing with Riverside and
Mission.
with Riverside and Mission Del Lago in August. Man, we're gonna be talking about playoffs before you know it.
The summer always feels like it goes fast, and I'm always excited. I love the individual stroke play events. Like, I'm super excited for a bunch of stroke play events. I think Brack's going to be super exciting. Just in the new format, it's going to be super cool. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
We don't often play stroke play events at Cedar and Mission, so
this is a really cool summer season.
Yeah.
There's a new format, a 9-9. There's no San Pedro trip. There's no big boy match play trip. There's stroke play at Cedar. There is stroke play at Mission, stroke play at Willow, and the Players Club Open, the PC Open, returns to Almost Basin. So lots of big golf at Almost Basin coming up. The first 2 rounds of the playoffs are at Almost Basin. So we were at Almost for a month.
Yeah.
At the end of the season.
Wow.
And then the South Texas Match Play Challenge is there. But as I wrap up tonight's show, thank you everybody for watching. To the viewers at home, to the golfers on the Alamo City Golf Trail Tour, to the sponsors Sean Sexton, Laura Lewis, and Rick Hoinsey. Special shout out to our ambassadors, Micah Carroll, Greg Graff, Stephen Evans, Sean Vidal, Laura Lewis, Jason Sandoval. Alongside me on the show tonight, Jason Bird, Dustin Hassan, and MD. And we cannot forget Casey Graham. Thank you to Casey Graham, ambassador who handles scoring week in and week out. The tour wouldn't be where we are now without you. Thank you to all the ambassadors for all you guys do. Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you to the golfers. Congratulations to the flight winners from Willow Springs. You guys earned it. There were great scores. I didn't think it was that easy, but there were a ton of great scores. Good job, everybody. And get ready for Cedar Creek.
Yep, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. Have a wonderful, safe, happy 4th of July. I know my daughter's birthday is on Sunday, her second birthday. I've got Laura.
Happy birthday.
Laura's going to have some cookies for us. I'm super excited. I'll make sure we show those off. And then rolling into Sunday. We missed being a 4th of July baby by about 6 hours. So
let's everyone who plans on being the show next week, let's get some 4th of July pictures to MD, and we'll slideshow our long holiday weekends.
Yep.
Guys, are we golfing this weekend? Where are we golfing this weekend?
You want to go to Colorado?
Saturday afternoon, someone let me know. Let's go play.
Yeah, we can do that. We can pop up there Saturday if you want. You want to?
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it.
Okay. All right, terrific. Guys, thanks for watching. Tune in next week, 8:30. This is the ACGT Tour Power Hour wrapping up for tonight. Sorry, it was the Power 2 hours.
Power 2 hours.
I thought it was a great show. Thanks to Ruben, and thanks, Steve, for coming on. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, guys. Thank you.